Hello everyone and welcome to 2.7. This is the 2.7 Star Wars The Old Republic Mercenary Arsenal spec changes. So we're looking at some of the changes to Arsenal spec. Let's have a look at the spec right now. Again, I like to rock with this build. Some people like Alacrity. I prefer Crit, to be honest with you, from the healer tree. I like improved vents. Again, it immediately vents an additional 16 heat and grants 10% alacrity for 6 seconds. Pretty nice. Vent heat is our cooldown. If we ever get low on resources or get too high on resources, our resources heat and it builds up. Unlike the Trooper's resource, which is ammo. So some of the changes, we'll start with the biggest change. The biggest change now is to Barrage. Now Barrage now has a 100% chance to proc Power Shot and Tracer Missile have a 100% chance to finish the cooldown and unload and increase the damage dealt by unload by 25%. Again, it's every 8 seconds. This is pretty massive because Tracer Missile, we're always going to be using Tracer Missile, okay? Tracer Missile, and there goes our Barrage. You get massive damage. Changes well to Unload. Unload, it does the same amount of damage, but they've basically changed the animation for Unload. Now ticks 4 times instead of 3. There's no real difference, to be honest with you. It's just it's more of a sort of cosmetic thing. I mean, you have to let it channel all the way. Does the same. That does let you see less numbers coming out, but again, we use Tracer Missile. Oh, evaded. Standing too far away from the dummy. And again, you get that 25% extra damage. This is pretty huge for us, because now we can do consistent DPS. It makes our DPS a bit more consistent in Arsenal spec. There's no changes to Pyro spec. I don't think there's nothing new for Pyro spec. So Arsenal, it's a good change. I like that. We want our proc similar in line to the Sorcerer proc. Sorcerer, which is 2 procs. We only really have, well, we do have 2 procs. We do have Tracer Lock is the other thing that we want. And again, it increases Rail Shot by 6%, stacks up to 5 times. You get Tracer Lock by applying Tracer Missile. So what we want to do with this spec is we want to build up 5 stacks of Tracer Lock before we fire a Rail Shot. That's our goal. So we're going to keep Tracer Missile. Tracer Missile is going to be our main ability that we use in this rotation. We always want to keep Heat Seeker Missiles on cooldown. Remember, Heat Seeker Missiles gets a 25% damage boost if your target is affected by Heat Signature. Heat Signature is placed on the target by firing Tracer Missile. I'll show you now. There it is, Heat Signature. So we use our Barrage. Probably going to want to get that off. Get our Tracer Missile up. Our Barrage comes up again, that's nice. We're done, we get our 5 stacks and then we fire off. Oh, I missed. Yeah, this guy isn't accuracy capped. I'm going to say that right now. This guy, not accuracy capped because he is a healer mostly. Don't really do much with DPS. I tend to just go gear wise. I've just got the 72. I hate this new gear. God, it was so easy to tell what gear you had. Now we've got 168 we have to refer to it as. So 168 head and 168 chest with 180 armoring. God, it was so easier to say 72. So much easier to say that. So yeah, the rest of his gear is all healer gear. As you can see, you've got healer main hand, healer offhand. I just need a barrel and a relic to be full 78. Not that that matters anymore, not that 78 gear is best in slot. So as you can see, my accuracy is only 105%. That's going to be your goal if you're going pure DPS. But because I'm a healer, I tend to just DPS occasionally. Mostly do dailies as DPS, to be honest. DPS the odd story mode, do the odd, maybe the odd TFB or the odd scum and villainy. In DPS, I think it's fine. I'm fine with it. I can produce enough damage. I do have a Dreadforged relic, which is quite nice. I'm gonna go and get an Oboran one, but I'll need to do PvP with him again. I haven't done PvP since 1.4 was the last time I did PvP on this guy. Oh, that's the wrong button. You see, no XP boosters. So I'm gonna go get one of them crafted. I've got enough materials to get the 78 barrel, or 180, sorry, barrel. 180, god damn it. That's quite annoying, that saying that all the time. So what are we doing? We were looking for, yeah, 2 Warzone comms. Right, 200 rank, that was turning them into Warzone comms. But yeah, I haven't done PvP for a long time on this character. Got no ultimate comms because I just bought mods for my main hand. So I'm gonna get me a barrel crafted for that. So then I can nearly be full 78, just rocking an Arcanian relic. That's all I'm rocking, so fairly easy. This fairly easy rotation now. We've got our proc 100%. Let's get to our rotation. So most of the time our opening usually is death from above. Very nice damage. Then we get our tracer missile on, then we get our blast, then we get our heat seeker off. Get our barrage procking, get our unload, get our tracer missile, get that 5 stacks, get that up. Then we'll go tracer missile again to get our barrage and get our thing up. Again we use, whenever it's on cooldown, then we just keep using tracer missile. Tracer missile again, we got a few seconds, we got our barrage up, and we got nice and simple. It's a nice easy rotation. We do have several things that we can augment our rotation with. For example, we do have, what is it, Power Surge. Power Surge makes it insta-cast. We use Power Surge with Tracer Missile. Makes Tracer Missile insta-cast. That's probably going to be our opening. Oh, next 2 abilities activate instantly. That was 2. That's pretty good. We've got our cooldown. Again, it's only a 45-second cooldown, so we want to be popping this as often as we can. Keep that on cooldown. Use it with Tracer Missile generally. We also got our Electronet. Again, it's a nice little dot. Electronet's more useful in PvP. Places a dot on the target. Basically, the more the target moves, the more it gets snared. Basically, it gets slowed, sorry, rather than snared. And it does more damage over time. It's a pretty nice ability. It's a long cooldown though. It's a 1.5 minute cooldown for PvE. But again, keep it on cooldown. Pretty easy again. Again, we keep death from above. Death from above is our main AoE. We're not bad for AoE. Our AoE rotation is again fairly straightforward. It's our main thing again. Death from above. What is this? Sweeping blasters, and we tend to use fusion missile. Fusion missile deals damage over time, as you can see. Ticking away here, and then sweeping blasters is our filler for AoE. Again, we can also use our explosive dart. It'll explode and deal damage to all nearby enemies. That's good for dealing with trash. But it's a nice easy rotation. We do sometimes run into heat issues. I've not run into any with this. I mean, high velocity gas cylinder, that's our thing that we're rocking in Arsenal spec. Again, high velocity gas cylinder, we've got terminal velocity. While high velocity gas cylinder is active, we vent 8 heat every 6 seconds. Again, helps us out. Pretty nice. I mean, again, the Merc is actually okay. I quite like where the Merc is right now. We're in a pretty nice position. We've got a nice simple rotation. We've got that Barrage Proc. I'm going to try this out. I'm going to try him out in Ops. Probably going to look for more DPS gear. The trouble with me getting DPS gear is it is going to be a massive downgrade. Everything's going to be a downgrade because everything he has is 78. And I was just working on a set bonus. That's all I was working on for the healer. DPS set bonus I don't really care about, to be honest. So I'm more power surge, power alacrity I tend to go for. But again, the main thing we want for our Merc is accuracy. Accuracy is key with all DPS. I'm 5% short on the tech, and we're 5% short on the ranged as well. Crit chance, crit is not that important in this spec, to be honest. Tech crit is, what, 21? 21's fine. You don't really want to be any 20, probably about the highest you want. Really, I mean, that's taking the thing from the skill tree. Again, taking the ranged and tech accuracy. I like this one as well. This is a must. Advanced targeting. Unload and rail shot ignore 30% of the target's armor, and increases our accuracy ranged and tech by 3%, not 30%. That would be cool if it was 30%. Yep. So again, we're always going to be using unload, and we're always going to be using rail shot. So again, we want that. Alacrity, maybe. Some people like alacrity, some people like crit. I always go with crit, just because it's a DPS. It's a DPS increase. I have a lot of alacrity in my gear because I have mostly healer gear. But this guy is probably my best geared class. But I tend to not play him very often as DPS. I play him as healer. But overall, I'd say good changes. They're good changes. Not as many changes as the SWTOR, but the one change we did get was a good change. And we also got our stabilizers. They did get an upgrade. Now that unload, tracer missile have 100% pushback reduction, and concussion missile has 70% pushback reduction. What is that's few? Where is concussion missile? Did I read that correctly? Concussion missile. What the hell's concussion missile? Oops, didn't mean to click that there. I've never heard of that. Concussion missile. Maybe it means fusion missile. Oh, concussion missile. Oh no, that's your that's concussion missile. Your CC, of course. Damn it, got all about that. So again, we get the pushback reduced by 70%. Again, it's very useful. We want if we have aggro and we want to CC something. Don't really take that in healer spec though. Tend to only CC things when I'm healing. That tends to be the only thing I do. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this spec right now. Pretty happy with it. It's a nice, good AoE, good single target. We've got our proc on barrage. We get that 25% damage boost, and that's it basically. That is all for this video then. Little short one, this one. Not many changes to the Merc DPS. I don't really know as well for the secondary stats, because I don't really play him as DPS, how much crit or alacrity. Again, critical multiplier, I guess. We've got no auto crit abilities, so don't think we really want surge. Alacrity, I guess you'd want to reduce the tracer missile. But again, accuracy is our most important thing. I believe the implants have accuracy in them, and the offhand has accuracy in them. The head and chest has accuracy, as I have here. 72 or 168. That's going to get annoying. Going to have to learn that to refer to the gear by that. I wish they had just dropped the 168, 180 and just went for 72, 78. It's much easier number. Everything up in threes. So it was much easier. Now he goes from 168, 180, you know. Don't like that. So thank you for joining me for this video. And next time I think we will look, what we're looking at next. I don't know, maybe might go back to the underrated DPSs and probably go look at the Scoundrel next. Take a look at the Scoundrel healer actually. Want to see what emergencies are. Yeah, I want to see what's happened. Probably have to test that in an actual operation though. Testing it against a dummy is not going to be a good idea. So thank you for joining me, and goodbye.